think we're peaking here a little bit. Peak. Can you hear me okay? Testing,
yeah.
testing. Testing.
Better.
Yeah, that was too low. Peaking there, good.
Looks like we're still in Maui. Poor little iPad. We're not Maui anymore.
Oh, you have a checklist of any kind?
Traffic not available.
That's fine. The controls are free and correct. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. The fuel valve is on, obviously the carburetor heat is off, the flaps are at 0. Instruments are set in check, so let's go ahead and do that. Our altitude here, looks like there's obviously been a pressure change. It'll be between 0 and 1, about 556 is where we're at here. And we'll set this for east. And VSI. That guy's not on because we don't have enough power, so I'll juice it up a little bit. We've run it a little bit now. Now with suction will come alive. As our suction comes up, this will come alive. Showing you, reminding you that this thing with no suction, when the vacuum pump dies or the engine's too low, is not helping you. It's off, okay? So you got to have suction for this thing to work. Either the vacuum pump or the engine, some form of suction. You can also have alternate suction off your carburetor. This plane does not have that. Okay, so the fuel pump can be on. Fuel pump is actually on. It doesn't matter. I think we'll go ahead and leave it on. Go ahead and take a checklist. We'll do a run up here in a sec. Get a little bit away from the car and whatnot. Go ahead and turn this guy on. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to do a run up. I'm going to push this up to about, I'm going to go put our altimeter on, put our radio on so we can hear anybody talking. I'm going to go push this up to 1700. Okay. And I'm looking for more than about 150 drop. That's good. That's one mag. Now I'm looking at our other mag. Good. Okay. I'm also looking to make sure that our suction's good. There's our suction right there. Okay. And we appear to be good. It appears to be pretty solid. Go back to about 1,000. Okay, mixture is full rich. Flaps are in fact up. Alrighty. I don't know that I should have worn this jacket, but we'll see. Okay. Brakes are good. Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is back taxiing 34 for departure, Huber. Check one more time. This is our only source of audio. Kind of nice though, because we don't have all those cords hanging in front of us. Yeah, it looks like it's working fine. Normally I have the thing attached to the camera, but those cords, you're right there, kind of annoying, hanging in your face.
Is that on fuel pump both?
I'm sorry?
Is this supposed to be on both, or off, or what?
Off. Always off.
Off.
Always off on takeoff. You should only, first of all, there's no fuel in the auxiliary tanks.
Oh, that's the auxiliary, okay.
Yeah, and anytime you want to fuel up, you should be in level flight. Yeah, never take off, never landing, always level flight. Whenever you turn those on, you should only one at a time. Al actually killed the engine one time, turning them both on over San Antonio. A little bit scary moment for him, I think. Okay, here we go. Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is departing runway 34 immediately. So again, we're going to watch our instruments are on the green. We got plenty of fuel. Our battery's charging there nicely. Let's give ourselves a little bit of GPS. I guess we won't have it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to push on the power, and I'm going to remember that I'm going to have to use that right rudder. I'm going to turn the aileron slightly to the right because the wind's coming out of the northeast. I'm now full power. Okay. I'm turning the aileron slightly to the right. I'm watching my airspeed. Right rudder, and then we can start to rotate here. Winds are nice and strong. We're rotating well. We're up to 80. Once you get to 80, you can start a positive climb. Okay, so what does the checklist say? You're climbing at 500 foot a minute, or I'm sorry, you don't have that thing.
It died.
That's okay. So I know it. So we're full power on the climb out, okay?
Uh-huh.
And we're not going to turn crosswind, which is going to be up here, until we're what?
45.
No, until we're 500 feet above the ground. What's the ground?
536, 538.
556, just call it 550 or 500 or whatever you want, but that puts it about, let's just call it 1100. So at 1100, we're now there. This plane climbs like a banshee. Okay, so we don't need to go above 1,600. We're looking for other airplanes.
Get into your wing tilt. Failed.
Say again?
You didn't look under your wing, you failed.
I failed. Luckily, I've already got my pilot's license, so I can't fail. Okay, so now we're climbing. We're already almost to pattern altitude. Okay, and once we get to about pattern altitude, and we're 45 degrees, so I'm getting to be about 45 degrees, just like we talked about. 45 degrees, and now I'm turning. Okay, now I'm already at pattern, right? So it's about time to pull the power back, because I'm full power right now, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and pull my power back. As I'm going to turn here. I'm going to establish base. And I'm going to pull back to 18 because why? Now, anytime in this plane you're below 20, in theory you should put your carb heat on. And what we could do instead, since we can cheat, we can actually watch our carb temp. And as long as it's higher than 32 degrees, we're not going to get carb ice. That's the beauty of this plane. So now we're about 1600, and now I'm going to pull back to about 1800 so we can get into flaps, speed, okay? Right around there, okay? There's 1800. Right here, we're crossing. Not quite 1800, so I'm going to pull back a little bit more. If you want to do good habits, put on your carb heat. Okay. Carb heat's on. We're well below here. Okay. I can put in my first degrees of flaps, 10 degrees of flaps. Let me just show you this one. Okay. Now we're down at 1800. Now I can pull back to about 1500. Okay. And we're about 45 degrees, so I can pull back to 1500. We'll see what happens here. And we don't need a lot of flaps. There's a lot of wind today, so really 10 or 20 degrees flaps is fine. I'm about 45 degrees. And Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is turning left base for 3-4, touch and go, Huber. So now look at my vertical speed. It's about 500. If I don't like it, I can pull back a little bit. And I'm still pretty hot, okay? So I can certainly go slower. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so it thinks there's an obstacle. There's no obstacle. We're good. And Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is established base 3-4 left hand, and we're going to touch and go. So about 90, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that in this plane. We are going to trim back here in a minute. Once we're established on final, I'm going to start slowing her down quite a bit. We're back at 15. Back at 15. And Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is turning final runway 34, Huber. Okay. So now I'm going to really slow her down, because this plane's got, now there's a little bit of wind, but that's not a big deal. A little air in here. I said take this jacket off in a minute. I'm going to pull my power back all the way. And now everybody's height's different. You're a little bit, now you can see we're crabbing to the right, okay? We're 500 feet off the runway, and you can see that whatever your picture is for the runway is different than my picture for the runway, okay? In other words, the distance from the cowling to the numbers, all right? I think we're going to make the numbers just fine. Yep, you can do this too. We're probably a hair low, but probably not. I could also put in more flaps. I'll put in 20 degrees of flaps. That's typical. That'll get us down a little bit if we're too high. Remember, this runway is really long for a 150, so we're good. The only thing I have to do is get those flaps back out. I could do a slip, but I don't think I need it. Okay, and as I get down to the numbers, I'm going to start pushing into my left rudder, holding my aileron to the right, because there's wind. Okay. And I'm holding. Now I'm just going to hold it right here. I'm just going to hold it. Let it just bleed off. There's no power. Oh, there I touched down. I didn't mean to do that. That's okay. Now my flaps are going to come up. I'll do that again for you. My flaps are up. I could actually climb with 10 degrees flaps, no problem, but I'm going to go ahead and go full power. I'm holding my aileron to the right, because the wind's coming from the right. I'm going to correct with my rudders. Good. Up we go again. We're in ground effect here. You don't want to yank back on that control, thinking that you're flying when you're truly just in ground effect. Remember, I trim back for landing, so I'm also going to have sort of a bit of a nose-up attitude. But now I'm well above 80 miles an hour. I can start my climb at least 500 feet a minute. I'm just leaving my power full rich. So there's a little bit of a crosswind today. No big deal.
So you're putting left rudder and right aileron?
I'm doing right aileron into the wind, because the wind's coming from this way.
Caution, terrain.
And I'm having to push the rudder whichever way necessary to line my nose up with the runway, which happens to be left rudder, because I'm turning right.
Oh, you're saying left rudder.
Okay, so I'm turning, so if I'm crabbing, if the wind's crabbing me, I'm going to turn into the wind.
Okay.
And now, my nose is turning to the right of the runway. I'll land sideways.
Right.
So I'll push my left rudder to line my plane up like that. Okay? Alright, we're going to turn, even though I wasn't quite to 1100. Alright, so last time I meant to hold myself up. I think the wind kind of gusted me a little bit there. But what I want to do is I just want to hold myself right off the ground, just a couple of inches off the ground or 6 inches off the ground, And then as I slow down, I don't want to touch until I stall, and I just slowly pull this back. Not so hard that I lift up, but not so slow that I touch down, which is what I did wrong this last time. I did it so slow that I touched down.
Uber traffic.
And Uber traffic, can you repeat that again?
Yes, sir. I'm about 2 miles to the east of you. I'm across downwind, or left downwind for 3-4.
Okay, and you're a helicopter or aircraft?
North Skywagon, Cessna 185.
Okay, gotcha. And this is Cessna 457 Alpha Echo. We are doing pattern work, and we're currently downwind for 3-4 left hand. You got about 14 knots coming off about 30, 40 degrees from the northeast when you land 3-4.
Okay, you're active in 3-4, right?
Yeah, I'm doing, active 3-4, a little bit of right side, or right hand crosswind.
Thanks a lot, and I'm going to go a little bit north and try to come in behind you when I get visual of you.
Yeah, just let me know when you see me. I'll get out of your way.
You're a Cessna, right?
Yeah, a little Cessna 150. We're just messing around. Okay, so now I'm behind the 8-ball. Been talking too much, so we got to slow down. We're being the runway. Oh, we had our car beat on that whole time. We should have turned off our car beat when we pulled our flaps up. That's okay. The plane's got so much power, it didn't matter. Okay, and now I'm going to pull back because I want to get my speed down to about a Husky. Okay, because I wanted to put in 10-degree flaps there, which I will now. I'm going to pull up a little bit, slow us down. I'm going to pop in those 10-degree flaps.
Traffic 114 Victor Kilo.
Now I'm going to pull back to 15. I got my car beat on, so I'm good there.
Going right over the top at 4,500. Right.
Now I'm going to trim out again because I want to slow down for the approach. 80 miles an hour is just fine. 80 to 90 is just fine in this plane. But you're definitely going to slow down to about 70-ish when you're on approach. Okay, so now we're turning. And Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo, turning left base 34. Huber.
Caution, obstacle.
So this GPS thinks we're closer than we are. That's okay. We know at 1,000 feet, or around 1,100 feet, we're right at 500 feet. Okay, so it's picking up some traffic. It's probably picking up the Skywagon. Okay. We're looking good. I might just go do 20 more to flaps. Give me the 20 to flap.
Caution, terrain.
Now, I'm probably a little low. Okay. We'll see. Looks to me like we're a little low here, so I'll probably keep a little bit of power in as we go down. And Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha, turning left, or turning final for 3-4.
500.
Touch and go. Here we're 500, so we'll probably...
601, we're downwind here on 3-4 left downwind. 601.
Roger that.
Obstacle ahead. Pull up.
Okay. Computer be tripping. Okay. So now we're about 80,
Caution,
and that's fine.
Obstacle.
So we're back in this sort of attitude. I'm going to go ahead and nose us down a little bit here with the trim. Okay. Pull back on the power. We're looking good. Okay. So once again, the wind's coming from the right, and so I'm going to have to turn a little bit into the right, and I'm going to have to push left. If I want to line up before we get there, I would do something along these lines, and I'd watch
Caution,
my... So now we're lined up with the runway. I can do this. I can hold the rudder if that makes you more
Caution,
comfortable.
terrain
It feels kind of
ahead.
weird. Okay. So I like to just wait until the last minute.
Terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
Quit tripping, bitch.
Pull up.
He's really cold for ripping. Okay, so we're way too fast. That's just the wind
Pull
coming.
up.
So I'm gonna bleed off some speed here, especially since we're doing touch and go.
Traffic.
Okay, so I'm gonna hold myself. The wind's definitely a little bit crazy today. I'm holding to the right, pushing a little bit to the left. I'm holding. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The balloon there. Balloon, balloon, balloon. Now I can hold. I can hold. I can hold. There. Boom. Now power up. Get my flaps out. Go full power. Get my flaps out. Get my car beat off. There we go. And we're up. Huber traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo's on the go. Huber. It's a little windy. So we're holding that right rudder. I push that tail back to the left. I'm holding down the right rudder to get the nose to go to the right.
Caution, terrain ahead.
Here on 3-4, be a full stop.
Okay, so now we're about 500 feet up. Now we can turn base. Or crosswind, sorry. And 457 up goes turning left crosswind for 3-4. We'll be looking for the Skywag. The GPS is just not helping us today, is it? It's cow tripping. And there's a Skywagon bound final back to touchdown, short final. Okay, so now we'll turn
Traffic. Not
downwind.
available. Caution, terrain ahead.
Is it tripping on the terrain? It must be confused about the altitude.
Yeah, shooting sure.
There's a Skywagon, and Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is established downwind, and we see the Skywagon on the runway. Hubert. Okay, so now we're going to pull back a little bit. We're a little bit above pattern. That's okay. We'll pull back to about 18. Okay. Pull back to 18. And we can now trim back. Okay. We get our speed down to about 18. It's a little bumpy. Okay. Go ahead and put our carb heat in just for good measure, even though we know our carb's fine. Let our plane sort of figure out what its airspeed is right here. Fine. Okay, go ahead and pop in our 10. You can even put in your 20 right now if you wanted to. Okay. Now right back to 8. That's good. I can even trim the nose a little bit forward there, so I don't have to fight it. Okay. And now we're a little bit above pattern, so that's okay. We can extend a hair, although I think we'd be fine. Now I can go ahead and pull back to 15. Okay. I already put in I'll put in my 20 now. Get us down a little faster. Okay. And we're about 45 degrees. Hubert traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is turning left base for 34 on the go.
Caution, obstacle.
I guess we're going to have to listen to her all day.
Caution, obstacle.
Yeah, I'll figure it out in a minute.
Missile traffic 114 Victor Kilo coming over
Okay,
the...
and now we're downwind. We're base. Now we're going to return final. We're about 80, which is good. Hubert traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is final 34, touch and go, Hubert. Okay.
500.
500 feet, looks good. And 20 is good, plenty of flaps for a day like today. For landing, anyway, we may mess with more flaps up high, but for landing we're good. Okay, so now we're getting down to about 70. That's good. You could even do 60 with more flaps in this plane, but with this amount of windage blowing us around, so you can see the nose is trying to trickle to the right. Okay, so I know my winds are favored to the right, more or less. But really, my nose is actually somewhat forward right now, so I'll just try to go with this. We'll see what happens. Remember, the winds even 100 feet above the ground are not what they're on the ground. Ground friction changes their direction and their speed and their turbulent activity. That's why I like to wait to the end, because if you think correction up at 1,000 feet is going to be what's on the ground, it's just going to be disappointing for you. Down here is where the real deal is. Now pull the power back. Now I'm just going to start holding myself off the ground, hold myself off the ground. I'm going to balloon up a little bit there. That's expected. Hold myself off the ground, a little bit of left rudder, hold myself there. That's a touchdown. Nice touchdown. And then I'm going to turn my deal here. Okay, and now I'm going to put on my carb heat and I'm going to go full power. I'm going to pull my nose off the ground, full power. And now we'll just make sure our flaps are up, and I'm using my right rudder, and we're in ground effect. We're not going quite fast enough. Boom, there we are. So to make sure that we don't pull it up real hard right up the runway, thinking we're flying and stalling back down to the runway.
Yeah.
Well, not likely to happen in this aircraft, because it's got so much power, but you'll be flying. If you get a bad habit of that, this aircraft will get you spoiled, and then you'll fly an aircraft that doesn't have as much power, and you'll get burned. You'll probably just end up with a prop strike, but it'll be about a $80,000 problem mistake, depending on the plane.
Caution, terrain ahead.
So it's a good climb at 80 miles an hour. Okay, now we're up almost 500 feet up, like Al's diagram, so we're good to turn. Hubert traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo turning left, crosswind 34 in the pattern. Hubert.
Caution,
Okay,
terrain
so
ahead.
climbing. Let's see if we can find her volume.
Traffic going to 3440 November, set to the east.
Okay, good. That will probably shut her out. Enter. Alright. Okay, so now we're still climbing. We're good, and we're about 45 degrees. I'll turn. Not quite to pattern.
Citation 1060 Romeo. Ready to taxi. We need to back taxi 34. We can wait till you land.
Oh, is that a citation at Hubert? You go ahead and back taxi. We're just doing touch and goes. We'll work around you. We'll stay above you.
Okay, appreciate it, guys. We'll make it quick.
No worries. Take your time.
So where's the picture for the
Missile traffic for Victor Kilo, left base, runway 35.
airport when you're downwind To be halfway in between your window.
Yep. And citation, I may do a low pass. I'll stay about 50 feet over you. If you don't want me to, I can certainly not do it.
Oh no, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, say that again, Ben.
That's what I got.
Okay, here we go. Low pass only. Heartbeat on.
How's this radio?
Radio sounds good.
Okay, they were yelling at me about it yesterday. We changed it out. I want to make sure that was a problem.
Now that time your radio was a little hard to read. Huber traffic, 457 Alpha Echo has the citation at site at Huber, approaching 3-4. We're doing a low pass only, Huber.
Gone too fast.
San Geronimo check. Traffic, Cherokee 63.
Let's go to low pass. Go fast.
Airport at 3,500, 3,500. Only inbound landing, San Geronimo.
We have the citation at site. All right.
You just did that for the GoPro, you little jerk.
Of course I did.
You're such a jerk.
I don't want to hear you going droning on and on about how Sonny and the GoPro.
Huber traffic, citation 1060, Romeo, be departing 34.
Smithville traffic for Victor Kilo, left crosswind runway 35, Smithville traffic.
And traffic at Huber, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is going to go over here over McQueenie in orbit. Let you guys get out of there. Huber.
6329 Juliet, 6 mile final for runway 35. Yeah, we're going straight north, so we'll be out of the way here quick.
Alright, so we'll get ourselves up to about 1,500 feet. Alright. It's over. Carbine off. Should turn the carbine off before. Okay, get back to about 22, 23, lock that in. We're burning through the
Smithville
fuel.
traffic for Victor Kilo, left downwind runway 35, Smithville traffic.
So we're going to lean back, pull back until we feel the engine get rough. And pull back some more. We should be about, yeah, good. 5.7 looks about right. We'll do some coordinated turns here. So my ball goes a little bit to the right. It's a little bit rough up here, so, you know, but I'm trying to just, as I turn, I'm just pushing a little bit on that right rudder. It's cool because these cameras are going to pick up all that action, too. We'll be able to see the rudders moving and all that.
San Geronimo traffic, Cherokee 6329 Juliet, 3 mile final, runway 35. We'll stop, San Geronimo.
Hold about 1,500. The jet's gone by now. It's about a 30-degree turn right there, and I'm pushing a little bit on the rudder there to get coordinated. That's about a coordinated turn right there. And I seem to pull up a little bit on the nose, but we're holding 1,500, so we're good. Alrighty. Let's go on up a little higher now. A little bit more rich. Climb up.
Smithville traffic, Cessna 64 Foxtrot, entering John Williams with 35, Smithville. Jumpers away over Hillsborough. Use extreme caution over Hillsborough Airport, 13,500 feet below Hillsborough. Over, we're flying 35, Eagle Lake.
I kept saying the different rudders for when you're landing. One time you said left, next time you said right.
Say it again.
Explain your rudder thing again. One time you said left, one time you said right.
Okay,
for
so
landing.
my ailerons are going to turn into the wind. And then I'm going to push on whichever rudder is necessary to line the nose up with the runway, okay?
Yep.
So if the nose is to the right, push left. If the nose is to the left, push right. Now, it's just going to happen that when the nose wind's coming from the right, you're going to have to push left. But I'm not even going to tell you which rudder. You're just going to look at the runway and you're going to push the appropriate rudder. Because it could change. If I tell you it's always going to be left rudder and then the wind changes as you get lower, you're going to think, well, wait a minute, he told me left rudder, and now it's not. So instead of just being told like a monkey to press left or right, you
just kept changing what you're saying, and I think you're just
okay.
talking and you're...
So the point is this, you put the ailerons into the wind, wherever the wind's coming from. The wind could change. It could be coming from the right, and then all of a sudden it's coming from the left. Hell, it could turn into a tailwind. You could have wind shear, okay? So the wind is constantly changing up here, and you can't ever count on anything. There's no right or left. There's into the wind with the aileron, and correct the nose tracking down the runway with the rudder. Now, if the wind doesn't change, and it's coming from the right, that's going to be right aileron into the wind, and then left rudder to pull yourself back over to midline.
If the nose is crabbing to the right.
Yeah, if the nose isn't crabbing to the right, don't worry about it.
No. If the nose is crabbing to the right, that's what you would do?
Yes, I would turn towards the right, okay?
Right.
Because why? Because I want my aileron pointing into the wind so that if I get a gust, I don't flip the plane over once I land. And once I land, I'm going to turn it all the way. Once the ailerons are no longer, once they're down below a certain speed, they're no longer controlling the aircraft anyway. We know that's wrong. I forgot to reset the fuel when you filled it up, but that's okay. We know we got at least 15 gallons here. I go ahead and add at least 10. There we go, that's good. 14. We know we're good. Okay. All right, so now we're up to almost 4,000 feet. Now I'm going to show you a stall. Okay? Look around, let's do a clear and turn like we're supposed to, because we're pretty high. Okay, I'm going to pull back on the power. Okay. So this is pretty much approach. This is you're coming in. You're actually, let's do 15. We'll do 15 because that's approach. This is what happens when someone comes in. They're on approach. It's dark outside. They've lost track. They're trying to hold their altitude. For whatever reason, they're being blown past the runway. Whatever their reasoning is, they are messing up. Okay, and they're still descending. Now, they don't want to descend anymore. In fact, they see a fence in front of them or whatever. Pull back. Okay? This is no flaps. Slower and slower. They're trying to hold that altitude for whatever reason. Okay? This plane is really hard to stall, so it's just a good plane. Just stall, we're starting to buff it a little bit. See how slow it goes? It's going 40 miles an hour with no flaps. It's an insane plane.
Okay. David.
I'm showing you slow flight. This thing will fly
Okay.
really? You're nervous?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to stall it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let you do it with an instructor. I can tell how nervous you are. You're squeezing me. All right, it's fine.
Well,
You don't have to do a stall with me. You can do it with your instructor. I don't want you to get scared. That's fine. We're just getting ready to stall. I was just basically showing you how incredibly slow this plane will fly, though. So that's why this plane is so safe. Look how long it took for it. It never stalled, actually. We were going 40 miles an hour with no flaps. and it never stalled, or maybe 50 miles an hour. Anyway.
No, we were going below 40 and it still was not stopping.
Yeah, it's an amazing, it's built for that. It's a very hard plane to stall, which makes it nerve-wracking because you have to get the nose attitude so high in order to get it to stall. Hang on, we lost that camera.
Sunrise Beach traffic, blue like I talked to, no downwind, runway 30, Sunrise Beach.
All good. Well, do you want to go, you want me to hop in the left seat and let you try to do some pattern work?
Eagle Lake traffic, Navajo 772. It's about an 8-mile final for runway 35, low approach.
Sure. It's so windy though.
I'm sorry?
It's just really windy.
It's really windy.
Blue Lake traffic, jumpers, parachutes, coming in Blue Lake.
Well, we could do some deals where you just come and approach. You come and do the approach and just do like 30 feet off the runway if you want. Just do mist after mist after mist. Just plan on like it's a mist.
Heritage traffic, Grumman 4515,
right.
Lima 8 miles west to land Heritage.
Where's the runway?
Right. How's those little white stacks?
Yep.
You're not allowed to use theirs to practice?
Well, baby?
You're not allowed to use this one, right, to practice?
No, only for emergency.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll show you how this thing works, though. This thing, you can actually get, let me show you how this, we'll do this real quick. We're at 3,000. Yeah, we're at 3,000. So I'm going to put in 4 flaps.
Eagle Lake traffic, Navajo 772,
Okay.
5-mile final.
Now we've got what we call the barnyard doors down, okay? And you can actually do an emergency descent at 100 miles an hour. Let me show you. You can't go past 100, but let me show you what 100 looks like.
35 Heritage.
Vanity. That's what 100 looks like, right about there. Look at that. Is that not insane? So that's how you get down quick in this plane.
Well,
Yep, pretty nifty feature. Can't do that without 40. Okay, so we're gonna pull some flaps out. We'll pull this drop a little bit. There we go. Looks like we'll take all the flaps out.
Eagle Lake traffic, Navajo 772, about a 4-mile final, runway 35, low approach.
Yeah, we were looking pretty much down at the ground there.
yeah.
I was going to just go ahead and do the stall, but I figured if I rattled you, you wouldn't want to fly. I'd rather you not be rattled. But what you did see is how incredibly stable this plane is at slow flight. That doesn't mean get down to 40 on approach, but it means that the plane's very forgiving.
Why don't you just nose down and punch whatever rudder, wherever wing goes to the sky?
Right, so if it were to drop left, I'd hit the right rudder. That would just basically correct me. So what I did with Kerry was we went up, we pulled the stick back as far into my belly, shot the plane up, it started to stall. When the left wing would fall, hit the right rudder. When the right wing would fall, and we did that for like 30 seconds, just falling. It's called a falling leaf. And it just shows you how the plane can be flown with the rudder if you're not panicking, if you can stay calm. You can keep, in other words, you can prevent yourself from going into a spin. That was the point. You can actually control yourself and not go into a spin, even when the plane's going, you know, it's not flying. It's basically stalling. And that was what he was trying to teach me. And that's what you're doing basically when you're recovering from a stall, is you're breaking the spin and you're controlling the airplane. Of course, you drop the nose, get your airspeed back up, River traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha Echo is about 2 miles out to 3-4, and we're going to do full stop on 3-4. River. Okay, so pull some power back, because we're probably a little bit high. Go ahead and drop in some flappers. Go ahead and just hit ourselves with 20, since we got so much altitude. Okay. Go ahead and pull our power back. Trim ourselves back to 80 or 90, which is fine.
Traffic running 15 Lima, right crosswind, 35 Heritage.
Okay, carb heat on. For good measure. I'm sure she'd be screaming at us right now if we didn't have her turned off. Okay, so we're probably a little low here, and so what happened there is I normally would approach at 15. I just got the power. But I cut too far back, and we've got a pretty strong headwind, probably a stronger headwind in altitude than we do down low. So it's even going to be a bigger distance penalty the higher up you pull that power. Now that we've sort of gotten a little bit lower, and I put it back at 15, we're seeing that things are starting to come back into the picture that we want to see, a little fisty thing. Who taught you that, Martin or the guy in Maui?
Martin.
Now we got some power. We're still a little hot. I mean, you really can come down on this thing. As you saw, it doesn't stall. You know, in fact, what's his name? Kerry used to have me come down at 60. I never liked it, but it worked. So now we're gonna, we're trying to control that airspeed. We're getting bounced around a little bit. That's okay. You just let it go. You just go with the flow, and you just keep watching the white line. You're looking down the runway. You're looking down the runway. Okay, and now I'm starting to put a little bit of rudder in here to correct. And I'm holding my aileron, and I'm just holding her off the ground. I'm just holding her off the ground. I'm holding her off the ground. I'm holding her off the ground. I'm holding her off the ground. Up, ballooned up a little bit there. That's okay. Holding her off the ground. Boom. And then I'm punching my left rudder to get me. I should have done that sooner. My bad. And then now just kind of hold the nose up so we don't end up with a bunch of damage to the nose gear. Hold my nose off the ground. Remember how old what's his name? Cameron would try to hold that thing up as long as he could, almost like a contest. Always keep that pressure off that nose wheel. These old planes don't, take a beating. Here we go. We'll go ahead and we can take our carb heat off. We can lift our flaps out. Here for traffic, Cessna 457 Alpha, go back taxi 34, here we are. See how docile this thing is? See how it's smaller? You can actually see the wheels out the window. That 172 is harder to see out the window, and you can really you can see the runway closer to you. What you want to do is get yourself right off the runway, hovering, and even if you touch, that's okay, as long as you've already at least broken your 500 foot a minute descent, you won't bounce. And so, what's ideal is that the wind's coming that way. Or actually, no, there's a quartering tailwind, right? So it's going to be like this, right? You're going to push away. The wind's coming this way, so we're pushing that way. Because the wind's coming from behind the wing, not in front of the wing, so it's the opposite. So I'm not doing really, I'd probably fail my test now if they want to see if I'm doing my wind management properly, but you're basically pushing the nose in because it's coming from the back left, from the northeast. And then once we get completely clear of the runway, we'll announce ourselves. Huber traffic, Cessna 407 Alpha Echo is clear to be active, Huber. Make sure to hit my truck. Okay, I'll turn off my avionics, turn off my radio, turn off my transponder, turn off my traffic, turn off my GPS, and turn off my landing lights, turn off my beacon. You want to kill it? Another way to kill it. You want to kill it or start it? What do you think? There you go. And then master.